All right, guys. Two Dads Review here. We are back and ready to report on the fantastic movie Justice League. It is definitely not a slow burn like last week's movie was.
No, it is a get-go, rock'em sock'em robots, like, right from the get-go.
You get like 5 minutes of break, like at the farm. You get like 5 minutes of like relaxed, calm green screen.
Yeah, they were like, man, this is. I don't know, man. I think the CGI corn in 1922 is a little better.
It's probably because it was real corn. Oh man. Okay, so if you guys are first time here, welcome to the Two Dads Review channel, to our podcast. My name is Clay. The sexy grizzled man across from me in the internet is Corey. Say hi to the internet, Corey.
Hi, internet. How's it going?
Hey. That's right. And we are here every week, and I'd tell you that we are every certain day of the week, but it's never the same day twice. So last week's podcast loaded on a Friday. This one may load on a Tuesday or Wednesday. We're just kind of all over the place. Just where you go to listen to your podcast, just hit that subscribe and notification button. You'll know when our stuff goes up. You can always find us over at twodadsreview.com. You can listen to us there or find links to other great places to listen to us. Feel free to leave reviews where you can. I lost it.
What was that word I was looking for?
What is it? Reviews where you can, like us where you can, and share us always. You guys help us grow.
I hope you take a screen capture of my face, man, because I've been smiling nonstop for 5 minutes.
Well, you're not smiling because of me. I'm not that funny. But I will take a picture of your goofy ass smile, and I'll put this shit on goddamn Instagram because I never have any pictures for Instagram. So there we go. So anyway, we are reviewing Justice League this week. Next week we are going to bring you guys our full review of Punisher on Netflix since it dropped about a week ago. So everybody's had time to get through it, binge through it. Do it how you want to. We'll be on that next week. And we got some other things coming up for you down the pipe. Yeah, but right now we are on to Justice League. But before we and spoiler free, we'll start spoiler free in case you haven't seen the movie yet and you want to kind of hear what two middle-aged 30-year-old guys dads want to talk about it. Initial reaction, because it's been out for 2 weeks, Corey. So we saw it the weekend after it premiered because I can't stand full theaters.
Oh yeah, dude. If there's more than 7 people in the theater, I'm it's crowded, it's overrun, there was rats in the corner. It just becomes the biggest debacle in the world where it may have been actually a perfectly fine experience. And then the people sitting next to me could have been wonderfully nice people, but I'm there's too many here. You fucked my movie up.
Yeah. So so after hearing all the stuff of the release and all the previews, and Rotten Tomato had this big reveal of their score for it. What did you think of Justice League just as an overall?
I would give it a 7.5 out of 10. I could have probably bumped it up to an 8 if there was just a little bit more.
Length, story?
Kind of anything. There was a couple lulling moments, and the action was good. Actually, if you would have probably gave me Superman a little earlier, I'd have probably gave it an 8. Yeah, it's 2 weeks. Get with your shit. You know what we're about by now.
We know, everyone knows Superman's coming back. That's not a spoiler. Everybody
yeah, right? Back. There was BuzzFeed has posted over 800 times about his mustache already. Everybody knows about Superman.
Right. So I think they said that the reshoot was the farm when him and Lois go back to his farm. And that was the reshoot that had the mustache being edited out. I didn't notice it. I didn't notice his mouth looking strange or CG or any sort of weirdness, like they, painted his mustache with green or something so they could edit it out. I don't know. But I didn't see a difference. It wasn't that big of a deal to me. But people got to pick it.
Dude, I looked at the screenshots, and even when I was looking at the screenshots, I was I could freeze a TV show at any moment and make someone look just as dumb as that picture right now. Because, like, no one realizes all the micro ticks and, like, facial movements that everybody has as, like, they're making the normal motion.
Right.
You know?
Well, let's not forget people are picking apart a perfectly chiseled face.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Henry Cavill.
Yeah, hey, by the way, they're like, oh, shit, dude, here's a really handsome fella. Let's find something fucking wrong with him.
Let's tear him down like everyone always does. Right, exactly.
Yeah, because we don't want to build anybody up that may already be on the top, because fuck them.
Right, yeah, they shit on him since day one of Superman. It's like this guy could not look any more like Superman if he literally did fly already. I don't understand. This is going to bring us. So if you listened to us last week for the 1922 Netflix original movie podcast, we kind of almost went here, but we had to stop ourselves. So we're going to talk about it now before we go into Justice League. A little bit more details of the Justice League, a little spoilers. But before then, so let's talk about the big giant elephant in the room. So Marvel versus DC when it comes to movies. Marvel's put out in the recent past, so in the last 10 years, many, many more movies than DC has put out movie-wise. Do you think?
Dude, I would like to know the number of that, like 10-1.
Well,
5-2 maybe.
So the DC cinematic universe or extended, whatever the heck they're called, DCEU, they're calling it. They started with Superman Returns. What was the first one? Superman Begins with Henry Cavill. What was it?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you would have to say that Batman was the first one.
Well, but then I guess so. We're calling what Christian Bale's Batman. I mean, we're not going back to like Michael Keaton yet, are we?
No, we're going. No, we're going to start at Christian Bale because like that the whole major way that DC is filmed now is because of the Batman films,
right? And yes, correct. And I guess we are to assume that all of the stuff from the past is canon anyways, because they even mention like wind up penguins and stuff from in this movie.
Right. Like
Alfred mentions like wind up penguins, and
I feel like they can just DC's like Marvel tried to make a little bit more of like a fluid universe where DC's like, we're just gonna pick and choose anything from anything that was anything ever in the DC film. Like I'm waiting for them to like reference something out of like the Flash TV show.
Well, and that's the one thing, I think.
No, not even the new TV show.
Oh, like the old one.
Yeah, I'm talking the old TV show, not the whole two Flashes in the universe. And by the way, like AKA the cat that played Barry Allen stole the film.
Right. I will gladly agree with you on that.
I almost want to go watch the Flash TV show now, just so I can compare the two, and then probably start a petition that the movie Flash just needs to take over the TV Flash.
Yes, they don't. Ezra Miller is the name of the actor who plays the Flash, and yes, he's fantastic. And yes, he has about I wouldn't say he has a small amount of screen time, but he doesn't have a whole lot of, comparative lines to everybody else. Like, he didn't have a whole bunch to say. Pretty much everything he said was a joke. Like, every, inner joke here would be, Flash's, that was his job.
Oh, yeah. No, he definitely didn't, have any, strong ideas on anything.
He's like, I just run fast and push people.
It's like, just tell me what to do.
And and Flash is, this one, he's younger, and, he's young in this one and just starting out his career with the law enforcement, but the TV DC stuff is in no way, shape, or form even the same universe or same timeline as the stuff that's in the movies, which can be interesting, but can also be kind of fun. So the CW, if no one knows what we're talking about, the CW shows Arrow, Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, what's the last one? Supergirl. Those are the four major ones on CW. There's some other stuff over there, but those are the main four. Maybe the other stuff is Marvel stuff. Anyways, but those timelines, those characters, those actors, none of them are coming over to the movie side. None of the movie folks are going to make it over to the to the TV side. That's not happening. They're just going to cast different folks, and I don't know. I'm not sure if I've read how us as people who are consuming this media are supposed to think of each section. Just separate it like it's a different comic book completely. I don't know, but I don't know. I watched all of the DC stuff, and in fact, if you're listening to us the week we dropped this is the week of the crossover episodes, where you have 4 episodes where all 4 of those shows have all of their people all together, and it's usually pretty fucking insane, and can be pretty wild time. So if you don't watch it, trust me, there won't be a lot of plot that's outside of the contained crossover story. So if you don't watch it, this would be the week to tune in just to see what the TV side of DC is doing. And this is definitely a crazy week, and it's Tuesday, and I have not watched. I think there was some last night, maybe Arrow. I don't know. They did something early, but yeah, it's a pretty wild time. But yeah, we're getting sidetracked.
Yeah, you watch a bonkers amount of TV.
I do. We definitely do not have a short list to choose from when reviewing TV shows on my end. That's for sure.
No,
it's pretty much whatever you want to.
Yeah, right. Like you're like, I watch all the TV, and I'm like, I watch maybe 2% of TV.
Right, and I don't know what to tell you. Sorry.
Yeah, dude, it's weird. How did we become friends?
I was raised in a household that the TV was the devil as a child. So it was always used as like, why are you watching that? Why are you doing this? So I've showed them, and now I watch it all the time.
Oh yeah, I think I'm just depressed all the time, and there's not enough good comedies on there. Like everything's reality TV. Like when reality TV came out is when I lost interest. And then when they started making serious TV shows, I was like, dude, everything can't be like Law and Order, man. There's like 90% of TV shows that are out there that are like Law and Order, and I'm like, I don't want to deal with real world problems. I want everything to be fake. I want everything to be like just utterly like, give me some Modern Family.
Right.
Give me some Always Sunny in Philadelphia kind of shit. Like, you know, where it's just weird day-to-day crap. And I'll watch that all day long.
Yeah, there's definitely, and I'm the exact opposite of you, is that I don't have, because I watch a lot of television, like I don't have time for a lot of comedies. Like I don't have time to wait. I have more pressing dramas to watch, and like I don't have time to go digging through comedies. So there's only a short amount of comedies that I watch, like New Girl, Modern Family, what other comedies? You know, there's only a couple there's only a few that I watch. So most of my stuff is all serious or SWAT style tactical, you know, shoot 'em up cops, SVU, all that good stuff, and then all the superhero stuff out there. Because I don't know, Corey, were you a comic book reader when you were a kid? Did you read comics like religiously when you were a kid? Was like, I'm going to the store on this day because it's release day for this week of comics? Did you ever do that as a kid?
Not that hardcore. Like I got into comics actually when I got a little older. You know, like when I could afford them, basically, like because I was drawing. So comics to me were mental fodder for wanting to learn how to draw and stuff like that. So like I would pick, basically I based it off the artist and then the writer. And then that's how I kind of got into comics. And then it got to the point where I would end up waiting and buying basically, you know, a graphic novel that was, you know, 40 comics rolled into one, and I would just read it like a book. You know, there was one series, The Authority, that I did the weekly. Like, as soon as it came in, I got a phone call at my house, and my mom would drive me up to the comic store that was over there by the Aquia Theater, and I'd go pick my comics up, man.
Right. Yeah, I was never a comic book guy as a kid. I mean, I picked up ones here and there, but nothing that was like outside of like the free one they gave you at Pizza Hut or whatever. Like, it wasn't like I was like digging for comics. I mean, I collected a couple, you know, stupid stuff, like because I was a Trekkie, I have like DS9, like when they made a comic for like DS9, I have like the first issue. It's like, this could be worth some money sometime. No, it's not. But you know, I have like I remember having the Death of Superman comic book, because like that was like everyone owned that comic book, like the one where he fought Doomsday and died. Like that was the one that everyone went and bought because we had to read it. When I got older, like I bought like Watchmen because the movie came out, and I was like, oh, graphic novel, I'll check it out. I bought Watchmen, and then like I've read digitally like all of the Walking Dead to like episode to like comic 100, but I haven't gone past that. But yeah, that's mostly like wasn't a big comic book guy, so like there's people who are way more attached to these movies and way more expectant of plots and storylines and characters than I am. I'm just going in like, fuck yeah, we have a friggin' Justice League movie and it's a whole shit ton of superheroes. Let's do this.
Yeah, that's pretty much how I am too. Like, I'm like, I read comics, and like as soon as you start comparing a book, a comic, or a comic and a TV show, like The Walking Dead or something like that, man, like I think you just end up ruining both experiences. Like, you gotta take them for what it is. Like, you understand that in the medium of a book, you can go into as much detail as you want. In the medium of a comic, you can go into like 90% detail, you know, because there's artist limitations. But in a movie, like, I want to say you can really only like quantify like 60% of that. Like,
if that.
Yeah, and whether that's followed by like, because let's say in the book there was a radio playing this tune. Like, if you do that exact same scenario in a movie and you hear that tune playing on the radio in the background in a movie, like, no one pays any fucking attention to that.
Right, unless you know,
unless someone points it out and they're like, oh God, that's right, dude. That was the song that was playing in the book that they said was playing, you know, or whatever.
And if you point it out, and then the folks who haven't read it are like, why are you pointing this out to me? Like, I don't give a shit that, you know, Hotel California is playing in the background. Like, so you end up alienating the folks who did. So yeah, it's walking that fine line of like, I want to make sure I do enough stuff to make the comic readers happy, but I don't want to do so much fan service that the people who've never read the comics are like, what the fuck is happening? Like, why are we so enthralled with this one thing or this certain, you know, I didn't even understand that. You don't want to lose the rest of the audience because, you know, we run into this with the Star Trek and the Star Wars type stuff too, is that you're trying to capture more than your base audience because they want to make money. So you have to make sure you appeal to everybody. And so I don't understand why this movie has a 40% on Rotten Tomatoes, 41% right now. Because
yeah, dude, I don't get that, man. Like, whoever is sitting there, like, just bashing, like, what are you expecting?
Well, I mean, who are the critics?
You would need a 6-hour movie to encompass the shit that you wanted to fucking probably have in that film. And let me ask your angry ass, would you sit there for 6 fucking hours and watch the movie? No, not you. Just the jackass critics that are, you know, over here just like hating on every single thing about it. Like, oh, dude, did you notice the lazy eye and so character who was in the third row of the back of the stunt doubles that no one ever fucking talked about? Jesus Christ. I'm angry now.
Well, I'll make you even more angry. So on Rotten Tomatoes, there's an all critics button and there's a top critics button, and the top critics for Rotten Tomatoes, it's at a 24%. And it's a total of 45 reviews. And it's like, what the fuck movie did you watch? Like, that movie was, you know, with that many characters and trying to tell a cohesive story, but you're not going to get the plot. You're not going to get a detailed plot of each character. You're not going to get a lot of backstory because there's not enough time. Because like you said, I'm not going to sit there for 6 hours and watch, you know, the origin story of Aquaman and the origin story of The Flash and Cyborg. I've seen enough from the earlier clips. Like, okay, I've got it. I'll just believe it. Let's roll with it. We can deal with it during their standalone movies later on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, that's how it should be. Like, but everybody just, I don't get it, man. They just want to be angry, I guess.
It's
like, all I can think of is the movie, the movie scene from Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, where they like get on the computer and they're just like going
the
to
internet.
Town.
What the fuck's the internet?
Yeah, basically.
It's one of my wife's favorite movies, and it's now one of my favorite as well. Not to mention Mark Hamill's in it. It's fantastic.
Yes, he is.
And Ben Affleck. Wow, are we getting? Yeah. So I mean, they're always in it. So
Matt Damon's in it.
Yeah, that guy's got so many connections, especially back then. It's pretty amazing the people who are in his movies.
Oh yeah.
But so what we're trying to say is,
yeah, what are we trying to say?
I don't know. Don't listen to the critics. Know that it's just some other asshole with a keyboard who can gripe about something in his mom's basement or somewhere else. You know, don't listen to the critics because the movie is really good. I wouldn't say it's just okay. I'd say it's really good. I wouldn't say it's great. I would say it's really good. I like your 7.5. I'd give it just to not be the same number as you. I'd give it like a 7.3. Like there was a couple of parts that I'm like, are we dragging this on? Like, are we really like, let's just get this moving. There was a couple of spots that didn't quite hit with me, but it's a fantastic movie. It's one I would pay for in the theater. It's one I would go back and probably pay for the 3D version next time just to watch it in 3D for the hell of it. I don't even care.
I can't do 3D, man, until I get some LASIK, man. Doubling up the lenses just
it is annoying. It is very annoying.
And I'm with my stigmatism, I am too blind to just go 3D. Like I'm like, it's all fuzzy and coming at me. It's weird.
I'm not sure how I feel about this.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like Marvel movies get picked apart like DC movies do. I don't know if it's because Marvel is like smart and they're putting out like 2 or 3 movies a year, so you don't have enough time to shit on one before the next one comes out. Because Marvel's
they're making good movies though. Like they're not making bad movies.
But
like look at this. Like here's an example: Ant-Man.
Okay,
what do you think of Ant-Man? Like your just immediate reaction?
It's all right. It's good. I like the guy because he's fun. I like the actor.
That's cool. But I'm saying Ant-Man. That is like one of the most
hated on Marvel movies out there so far.
Well, a little bit, but it's also like one of the most minor people. But you could honestly compare Ant-Man to the 3 Batman films in quality. Like
wow.
there's no like Ant-Man was a great film. And you could pit it against any of the Christian Bale Batmans, and I guarantee the ratings would almost come out identical. I feel like if you took a poll.
Well, I mean, and I to a certain point I do agree with you because I don't think the Christian Bale Batmans are as much as some folks make them out to be. I'm actually going to go out on a limb and say, and I don't think you agree with this. I think I like Ben Affleck as Bruce Wayne and Batman more than Christian Bale. I really, really like Ben Affleck as Batman.
They're almost 2 different Batmans to me. Like Christian Bale's Batman was obviously the dark, brooding Batman, and like
but it got so dark and brooding.
And like
it got
Ben
silly.
Affleck's Batman though is like, I'm 45. I can't do this shit much longer. Like he's more of, I'm too old for this shit, fucking Lethal Weapon kind of guy than he is Batman. Like
right. He
which he made Batman
suit.
more realistic. He made Batman more human. Like I'll give him that. Like that was cool. But when I'm thinking Batman, action movies, Justice League, I'm thinking primetime Batman that's not sitting there going, oh yeah, I decided to start this like super ass awesome group of people when I was about
45.
to be 50, right? Like, no, that Batman did that shit in his like late 20s, early 30s. He already had his battle with Superman or whatever, or just fucking lie to me and keep Batman 30 forever.
Right. Like James Bond.
Yeah. Like he doesn't change, man.
I agree. I agree with what you're saying. And I don't want to negate what Christian Bale did for the Batman character because he resurrected Batman from the fucking follies that were before it. The Batman and Robin, the Batman Forevers, like those Batmans were just, the studios were gearing it more towards kids and Batman of all the superheroes doesn't need to be a kids movie and we need to quit. I'm okay with not, how am I going to put this? I wish this movie wasn't PG-13. Like, I'm tired of them.
Every Marvel and DC film should be rated R.
Yes, because if you look at the comics, there are people being ripped apart and bloodied and battered, and I need to see that. He got thrown into a fucking car. Like Batman should, like he got thrown into a car.
Yeah, there was a couple things where Batman like took and only got a few like minor bruises, and I'm like, dude, I've hit my hip on the kitchen counter, and my body looked fucking way worse than that.
Like I literally shut down. Like
Yeah,
I laid in the floor of my kitchen.
I dropped for weeks. You got up and walked that off, man, like it was nothing.
You bent the fucking A-frame of that vehicle with your back. And if you're 45, your previously broken back by Bane, if we're going on the timeline, like you hit that cop car at about 90 miles an hour and you were like, oh, help me up.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. So I'm kind of in the same mindset as I am when I gripe about people bitching about the Star Trek Discovery show. Like I'm just happy at the time frame that we live in, that we are dads with kids that we can take to good comic book superhero movies with good CGI, that they can do the things they couldn't do in the 80s and 90s, and they didn't have to make it campy. They don't have to do all that shit.
But like, when we saw those films, like they were fucking awesome.
It's because it's all there was.
That's what I'm saying.
But but there's things they just couldn't do.
But like now you're just jaded because you know the difference. Like that's what I'm saying. Like Dean and Brody and Aiden and like everybody that I'm not gonna list all the kids, but like
leave some of their identities alone. That's fine.
Yeah. Right. As soon as like they go see like the next, I don't know, let's say Green Lantern film that comes out, like you and I as grandpops are gonna be watching it going, son of a bitch, man. Those films we took them to were such fucking trash. Like, oh, man, they're going to hate us. And they're going to be like, no way, man. Those were the greatest films ever. Like, I'm cool that this is all CGI, but, like, you can't stop that nostalgia. Like, you can never take that away.
True. And you can't take away what certain actors did at the beginning. Like, when you first see Batman in the original Batman with Michael Keaton, like, the last time people had seen Batman was, the 60s TV show. Like that Batman you saw in the 80s. 80s? Yeah, it was 80s. I mean, he was amazing. Like Michael Keaton was amazing. And I personally don't, like when I think of Bruce Wayne in my head, the first person to come to mind is not Michael Keaton. Like when I think about, stature and how Bruce Wayne should look, like Michael Keaton is not it. But he was fantastic in that movie. Both of the movies he was in.
Yeah.
And let's not go into how dark Batman Returns is. Like,
right?
I made the mistake of turning that on with my 4-year-old, and I was like, we should not be watching this. Like, this is scary. This shit is scary. And I forgot Christopher Walken was in that movie, and that's fantastic.
That's right, he was.
When I was watching, I was like, oh shit, Christopher Walken's in this, man. This is great. Yes, that's I don't even know if we talked about anything for the past 25 minutes, but I don't understand why people hate on these things because yes, the movie was any movie perfect? No. And part of the problem is that the directors at the end of making the movie don't have control of the final cut and the studios are trying to, let's throw this in, let's rip this out, let's do this, let's reshoot this. And it's like, just let the director do the movie, man. Like leave it alone. Like quit trying to make it perfect because in the end you end up fucking it up like you did with Batman vs. Superman. Because if you watch the director's cut, it is a 10 times better movie than the theater version. Batman vs. Superman is actually a great movie when you watch the director's cut. Have you seen the director's cut?
No, I haven't even seen the movie.
That's too bad. It's actually, that one got shit on, I think, harder than this one got shit on. But the director's cut is fantastic because he got to do what he wanted. He got to do what he wanted to, leave the scenes in he wanted to leave in. Yeah. I don't know. That's just it. So anyways, let's get past our non-spoiler territory into, a couple plot elements and things we liked about the movie Justice League. So, the main plot of the movie is there are 3 mother boxes scattered. One is in the mascara. One is with the, what do they call Aquaman's people? The Atlanteans or something?
Yeah,
is that right?
The Atlanteans, yeah.
Yeah, one is with them and one is with the human, not humans, but men the tribe of men, because apparently all three of the tribes banded
Have
together.
you ever seen Hellboy, the Golden Army? It's kind of like that. There's three tribes, just one's not Elvian. It's Atlanteans and I don't know.
Amazonians
and Amazonians. There we go.
Right.
Yes.
And so each of them was during, they had this big battle with the bad guy. The big boss of the movie is Steppenwolf, who is a underling of Darkseid. And once again, as we said earlier, I'm not a huge comic reader, so I don't know the whole backstory of Darkseid. But from what I understand is people who did enjoy this movie and were massive comic readers are glad they didn't go straight to Darkseid, because Darkseid is supposedly like, you can't, like, he is the boss of all bosses when it comes to Justice League, and he's going to end up messing up a lot of people. So they're glad they didn't. He was mentioned by Steppenwolf a few times during the movie, but they're glad they didn't go straight to him as the bad guy. I'm sure he will show up in later films, but not right now. So so these 3 boxes are at each of these locations. The box that the tribe of men have, nobody knows where it is, at least not originally. It's not like something that we didn't just build our entire civilization on protecting the box, because I wanted to bring this up because we saw this at the Amazonian in Themyscira. They would like go to work, and their entire day of work was like pulling this arrow back at this box.
Yeah, right? Like, I mean, my God, what were the shifts on that? Like, jeez, dude, can you imagine? I mean, like, dude, I get it, Amazonians and Atlanteans, and they're all supernatural in some way, shape, or form. But I don't care, man. 12 hours of no matter what you are, holding a bow, because you got to imagine that, like, okay.
Drawn.
Yes,
they have it drawn at the bow.
Drawn bow. So you got to imagine that, like, if a human can only do a bow to this level, then an Amazonian was like, oh, well, then we can build a bow that does it at this velocity, at this strength, at this blah, blah. That's all 100 times more. So I don't care. That bow is still insane for them to hold that whole time. Right.
And on top of it, bows this day, because I do a little bit of hunting in my life, compound bows, once you get past a certain point, the poundage to pull it back like releases, and it's like really easy to hold back. But those aren't compound bows. Those are not compound bows. Those girls are holding back.
There was no mechanism going to help that.
Correct. And so and the worst part is, so they're the first place that Steppenwolf hits in the movie, and all those hundreds, if not thousands, I think they said 5,000 years, whatever, like thousands of years of that guard duty, day in, day out. You wake up, you go to your thing, you hold your bow for 8 or 12 hours, you go back home, you have dinner, you go to bed and do it all over again. All of that shit, and he destroys them in about 30 seconds and takes the box and leaves. But those are some badass girls.
Yeah, no, they're okay. Well, yeah, like that fight scene, man, was.
It wasn't 30 seconds. I'm wrong. It was like 5 minutes.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was like a 5-minute fight scene, because there was like 3 hordes and of Amazonian women riding horses, like doing these acrobatics off it, like laying these bow and arrows going out. They were like sitting there, like sacrificing themselves.
Oh, getting out of the temple was so crazy. Like, your entire job is you hold this hammer and you crush and you knock this pole out.
Like, you're trapped.
Yeah, and those 2 girls that were holding the door, those girls got smished.
You think?
They got some. There was no moving. They were holding them, and then then the door just shut when she slid out.
See, I always imagined they did it like someone giving up on a squat and just like let it go off their shoulders and got out the way.
I want to hope so, but they were way under that. They were way under that stone. They were way under there. I want to hope that they just gave up like a squat, but they may have just given up like the bad videos of squatting that you see.
Oh yeah, dude. Like. Yeah, probably where they bent over backwards and their fucking like neck snapped. That's how it had to have gone down.
That's so bad. So Steppenwolf ends up at the end of the whole giant fight, like getting the box, of course, from the Amazons, and we pretty much cut to what is it? It's Bruce Wayne just going around trying to recruit people, right?
Yeah, pretty much. He's
When
already he's already in cahoots with Wonder Woman.
Yeah, we know they're good.
Yeah. So it's basically like they're like, yeah, we know we need to do that, and then Cyborg is like stalking them because he's like automatically upgrading and doesn't understand what's happening, but like he's evolving physically and mentally.
Right. He's got alien languages in his head. Every time he wakes up, something else on his mech, his technology has upgraded. You know, he's talking to his dad in the room, and like he just like lifts off the ground like, you know, flying like Iron Man does, and he's like, couldn't do that last night when I went to bed.
Yeah, right. Just up in the air. He's like, oh yeah, hey, by the way,
I can fly now.
Yep, that's
Not
a
a
new
problem.
feature. That's a new feature.
Friggin' 3.0 and shit. But yeah, I think Bruce sends Diana to talk to Cyborg, and he goes to talk to Aquaman and the Flash. And Aquaman, it wasn't even the scene when, okay, first, let's just put out the fact that Bruce Wayne like outed himself to like an entire town in Norway that he was Batman.
I don't think he really cared because that whole entire town in Norway doesn't give a fuck about Batman. Like they're like, Batman's not over here helping us. Like he lives in Gotham.
Like who?
Yeah, right.
Wait, this guy dressed like a bat? What a weirdo. This guy could frickin' saves our sailors, which it's not even the same scene, but like when we do see Aquaman save that guy in the ocean, he just dumps him on the table and he's like, drinks are on this guy.
Oh yeah, he's like whiskey. And then he's like takes the whole bottle and is like, what? Yeah, he was like, drinks are on him as he leaves him on the table and then like walks off like across the monsoon that's going across the deck out there.
Like with no shirt. Like I like how he wears a coat sometimes, but then he really doesn't need it. He just like,
yeah, right.
Out.
He's like, oh, I'm going in the water. I better take this coat off. I guess he just was like, everybody else up here wears clothes, so I better put something on me.
Yeah, but where's he getting the coat from? Like, he just leaves it like they just have like here's Aquaman's locker where he could like just come get his coat when he gets out of the water.
I guess, dude. I don't know, man. Maybe the guy just has like just stash boxes everywhere.
It's just behind the bar. It's just behind the bar.
He's got his own like loot crate that like brings him clothes.
Oh man, but yeah, I like Jason Momoa. I've liked him ever since he was Khal Drogo on Game of Thrones. I thought he does. If anybody, I mean, they've definitely made it a point to not make Aquaman goofy, which Aquaman shouldn't be goofy because, from what I understand from the comics, if you actually read some of the later iterations of Aquaman, like he's not messing around. Like that motherfucker calls sharks on people and shit. Like he's not the goofy people that everybody's like, oh, Aquaman can never be cool. Like he's been the butt of jokes, like comic jokes for like a long time. Like most of my adulthood, it's always been.
Yeah, everybody thought he was a joke, and then there was the comic series where Aquaman basically loses his arm and he's got a trident as a left hand, I think it is. And from that point on, if you read any of that, Aquaman is a bona fide badass. Like the dude you saw in Mortal Kombat versus DC in the video game. That's the bona fide like badass Aquaman. Like that guy's like, fuck everybody. I don't give a shit. We're Atlanteans. Like I'm maybe JLA if it helps the ocean. Like fuck everybody else.
He's like a hyped up Captain Planet.
Like yeah, he's a Captain Planet on steroids and road rage.
Right. Well, that's there's not a single character from this movie that I don't like the direction they took with it. I've liked Wonder Woman since Batman vs Superman and was reiterated in her standalone movie. So much so that my ringtone on my phone is still her theme song because it's the baddest fucking theme song ever.
Is it? I remember when it was, and you were like, dude, listen.
Not even turning it off, because one of the things, and I'll tell you why I like her theme song, because it's a notable theme song that I can immediately hear it and recognize what it is. But if I were to ask you to sing me the Iron Man, the Captain America, the Black Widow, they all have themes, but nobody knows what they are. Like,
I don't
it's
think
not
Black
like,
Widow has a theme, because Black Widow hasn't had a movie.
But, okay, maybe not Black Widow. But there probably is a theme that plays when she's on screen that we just don't know about. But music is not, I don't know, it's not taken as seriously and as needed as it should be, I think, sometimes in Marvel when it comes to what we're hearing. Like, like the Wonder Woman theme song, like, inflicts emotion on people when you hear it. You're like, you want to get fucking hyped and like grab a shield and a fucking sword and like go kill somebody. Like that, her theme song is badass. And apparently they're still using the Batman theme song from like 1989, because when we were sitting there for the after credit scenes, like they referenced that song and I was like, did I hear the Batman? Like, I guess maybe they are still using that, but they didn't put it out there nearly as much as like when you first saw Wonder Woman, you heard her music kick in and I was like, yep. That's the song.
Yeah, you're like, yeah, buddy, that's me. I saw you boogieing a little bit next to the seat next to me.
I was like, yeah, if I had hair, I would headbang this shit, but I don't have any. But yeah, so I don't hate a single character. But anyways, we'll get back into it. So Aquaman turns him down originally when Bruce Wayne comes and talks to him. He goes to see Flash. Flash is, we see his stuff with his dad. His dad's in prison for quote unquote killing his mom. Two Dads View air quotes, because if you follow the TV show or the comics and know the story, his dad didn't kill his mom, but he's falsely accused, but there's no way of proving that he didn't do it. It was Reverse Flash or whatever. So that's a whole thing you've never seen, Corey, but that's how it goes with his. That's why his dad's in jail, because back when Barry was like 8 or 9, Reverse Flash went back in time through the Speed Force and killed his mom. So
gotcha.
Yeah. And in the TV show, he goes back and stops it, starts it, lets it happen, doesn't let it happen. Like, it's a whole thing. He creates Flashpoint. I mean, it's a whole situation. Don't even let me get started in it, because this podcast will be way too long.
Nope. I think you guys should not talk about that at all. And I mean you guys as in us, because we're talking about a movie.
I know. Sorry. I don't know the comics, but I do know the TV shows, and I know this. I was like, oh, I know why he's in jail. That's okay. Yeah. So, Barry is all about. Wait, does Barry first meet him like when Bruce Wayne is like sitting in his secret like tech hideout place? Is that when he first meets Bruce Wayne?
Yeah, because Bruce Wayne was sitting in the chair, and he's like, well, why is there a creepy guy sitting in my chair? My second favorite chair, by the way, because he specifically pointed that out. He was like, in my second favorite chair.
Right, and then he went on like a 2-minute rant about brunch.
Yes, he's like, what is brunch?
They brought...
Wait in line for an hour for lunch.
Right.
I love that joke. That was such a good one. It was such a good one.
Well, they brought in Joss Whedon, because when you see the writing... credits for this movie, you see one guy's name and then you see Joss Whedon, and you can pretty much, anytime you laughed out loud was probably Joss Whedon writing it for you. That's just a given. Like, he was brought in to lighten this, to lighten the script up a little bit, and I'll guarantee you that was something he wrote. But yes, Ezra Miller, the guy that plays Flash.
I think we should make a bet on that.
Okay. I don't know how to verify it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We got to figure it out. We'll do some internet sleuthing. What's the bet? Fifth of something for the winner?
Yeah, that'll work. A fifth of your choice.
All right, there we go.
Nice. Where we can find out what did Joss Whedon write?
Yeah. Please tell me the exact lines Joss Whedon wrote in this movie, because I need to verify this. Anyone
listening, if you know, please tweet at me and tell me that. And if it's in Corey's favor, then don't tweet at us. Just don't worry about it. I don't want to buy you a fifth of whatever you want. Mine'll be bourbon, you know that.
Mine'll be either whiskey or vodka, depending on if I'm feeling frisky.
Yeah, I'm not buying you a bottle of scotch that you killed at my house a few years ago.
Okay, by the way, you didn't even drink it.
That's because I wasn't on brown liquor at that point.
Well, I know, so don't get mad at me because you were like, you can have it. And I was like, okay, I'll take you for your word then. And I drank the whole thing.
By have it, you meant drink this all tonight? Sure, absolutely.
That's what you get for trying to teach me Munchkin and telling me it was an easy game.
Yeah, that was a bad idea. That was really a bad idea. Next time I won't do that. Oh man, those were fun days. I had like one kid at that point. Like like one kid is nothing.
Nah, you had two still.
Did I already have my son at that point?
Yeah.
Well, they were all asleep, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
So, all right. So let's see. So Aquaman turns him down. Flash gets on the bandwagon real quick because he's like, yeah, absolutely. Let's do this. And then what happens next? Steppenwolf takes it from
Who did he take it from?
He took it from shit. Why am I blanking on his name? The Aquaman takes it from Atlantis next. Like super easy as well. There's a little bit more because Aquaman tries to stop him, but that's what brings Aquaman onto the team when Steppenwolf just runs through his crew in no time.
Oh yeah, but I mean there was still a big fight for that too. It wasn't as big as the Amazonian.
I was gonna say that.
No, it wasn't. But I mean, it was still a big fight. Like you kind of made it. Like I almost thought you were talking about the third one. At that point, when everybody was like not paying attention, and then he just goes and zaps down and grabs it real quick. Right,
when they were too busy. Well, they weren't paying attention. They were too busy fighting evil Superman for 5 minutes.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, you got to figure there's evil Superman, and then there's the one thing that's left at the one thing that the one guy who wants. Like,
right,
you gotta have some priorities.
Well, I mean, he just woke up and he was very upset. And it took all of them. I don't know why Batman even gets involved because it's like I have 3 immortals and then me and this guy who runs fast. Like I'm just gonna step back here in the back and just chill. But no, he wants to jump right in there too.
Yeah, it was pointless.
Yeah, it was bad. So let's go ahead and move on to the Superman portion. So Bruce Wayne realizes that we're going to need more than what we have. Like, and we've got to get, he's like, we have this mother box because Cyborg's dad used to make Cyborg who he is.
Yep.
So we know that the humans have their mother box and it's being used and it's being stored. And,
yeah, because what did they call it? Do you remember?
I don't remember off the top of my head what they called it, but they didn't call it the mother box. They called it something like,
yeah.
Tesseract. What they call it? Yeah, it's the same thing. It's literally the same thing
Thor?
from Thor, or the same thing from like Transformers. I mean, it's a cube somebody wants. It's a well used plot device in all these big movies.
Yeah, basically.
So they're like, yeah, let's just raise Superman from the dead. Maybe he's not really dead at all. I mean, maybe this box can jumpstart. It could bring you back from dead. Their football playing cyborg guy. Let's try to bring Superman back. So they go dig up his coffin, like slow. It's funny because like the cyborg and the dude who moves at super speed are like digging it like normal human pace. Like
yeah, well, the Flash is like, I could do this like way faster, but it feels disrespectful. Like
at least he alluded to it. Like
yeah,
that's another like I'm sure that's probably a Joss Whedon like you guys realize you have like the fast guy digging super like normal slow right to make this whole conversation happen where he could just dig it real quick. But yeah, they get Superman out. They break in to where the government has Superman's ship, the ship that Zod's ship or whoever's ship it was, and dump him in the water. They realize that shit ain't gonna work, so Barry has to generate enough electricity to pretty much jumpstart the box, which then becomes a giant defibrillator to then zap Superman.
Oh yeah, and by the way, he has to touch it at the exact moment it touches the water, otherwise it won't work. Because heaven forbid he ran across with the cube already in the water,
right,
and fucking hit it at the exact same time. Because why
messes it all up?
Why does it not? Why does it need to touch and happen at the exact same time?
It's kind
fucking
of
electricity.
It was kind of a plot point that was like, why? Like, yeah, and that stuff like you just said right there is like where I didn't give it like an 8, like the movie an 8, because it's like you didn't need that. Like Barry's got to build up enough speed fast enough. Like I don't need the extra hurdle of like them having to count down, which was literally not. It's like when you and I try to sync up audio, like it's not even close anyways. Like you're not even counting. Like that's not even scientifically close. Like just let him run and get fast and zap it with his lightning bolt. Like it's fine.
Right. Like that's all. Like it would have been cooler if he would have like the cube was already in the water and he just like sprinted in and ran across the water and tapped it. And, like that would have been awesome.
Yeah, they didn't have. I just felt there were a few things in this movie that were added like as an extra hurdle. That's like no, it's cool. They're already having a hard enough time. Like we got you. Like you don't have to make it harder for them or make them seem any more magical. So
yeah. We don't need to know that the Flash is so fast that he can time a dropping box from a random point, because they were like 1. He was like 1 second later saying 1.
Right.
Like I get it. He's fast, dude.
Right. So that was definitely, one of those things that was just kind of a gripe, and that's okay. That's a minor gripe because the movie is pretty fantastic, so I can gripe about little stuff like that.
Yeah, no, I mean that's a minor gripe. That's
it's just not a 40% rotten.
Yeah, no,
gripe.
That's just more of like a common sense kind of thing. Like, man, it didn't need to be that special.
Right. You guys are already special enough. I mean,
like you could have had the Flash run around in a circle like he was doing a fucking Three Stooges bit in the water and hit the goddamn box. Like it would have done the exact same thing.
The circle on the TV show, the circle running is what he uses to create his lightning bolt he throws, which would have been awesome to see on screen. Like that's pretty much what he was doing because Flash in the comics, on the TV show, and of course in the movie, like he can get up enough speed that he can hurl a lightning bolt at people. And if he just show me him throwing the lightning bolt, he didn't have to touch it, just let him throw the lightning bolt and hit the box. That's awesome. But they didn't do that. That's fine. So anyways, they resurrect Superman. He wakes up. He didn't quite know where he is, who he is, and they all have to fight him. And we learned that the best part, speaking of the Flash, we learned that Superman is as fast, if not faster than the Flash, because as the Flash is like trying to flank him on the move, the look, like Superman's eyes turn to see him, like in mid-run.
Dude, that was awesome. Like, and I love his face. He's like, oh shit.
Yeah, that dude was Flash was like, oh crap, he could do the same speed. Is he looking at me? He's like, oh shit, he can see me. Like he is going the same speed out. Yeah, that was great. That kid made it. He just made the whole movie. He tripped all the time.
He
fell
did,
over
dude.
his ass
but
all the time.
That was the best part about him being Barry Allen, because Barry Allen is like the Flash, but a bumbling idiot at the same time.
Well, he's a kid. I mean, he's not a kid, but he's definitely not 45 like Bruce Wayne is.
Yeah.
He's not a seasoned fighter. He just runs, like he said, he just runs a lot and pushes people. He runs real fast and pushes people. But he had his good save, like where he like pushed the sword back into Diana's hand.
Yeah, dude, I love how he like poked it with his finger and was like,
ping.
Yep.
Yep, that was pretty fantastic. Yeah, so Superman. So they all fight Superman, and that's when like Bruce Wayne gets thrown into like through a vehicle practically, and he's all beat up, and they bring in the big guns, which for Bruce was or not for Bruce, but for Clark was bringing in Lois, and so she talks him down from being crazy zombie Superman, and he flies her to the farm. And which we're pretty sure is then the reshoot or the after shoot where he has his mustache CG'd out. But that was one scene for me that
like,
really.
Why couldn't he shave his mustache?
He was in the middle of filming another movie when they did the reshoots, and he wasn't going to shave it because he had to have it for the other movie.
Oh, okay.
Which is why when we were talking on the way home from the movie, when people die, like their fingernails and hair and shit grow for longer. So, I mean, you could have just given me like a grizzled Superman. Like for just, until he like laser shaved it off with his eyes or however Superman would shave. I don't know how Superman shaves.
Yeah, because I feel like Superman's super beard would grow super fast.
Well, yeah, I mean, so I thought they could have kept it, but then it would have been like this whole issue with the, whatever. People are, the critics would have then bitched about him having a beard in the first place or having whatever facial hair he had, from whatever movie he was currently filming, but whatever. Who cares? It was fine.
Touche.
I mean, I've personally felt like you could have cut about 2 minutes out of the farm scene and just given me like him and Lois there not talking, and then like him asking, "You called mom?" and she said, "Yeah, I called your mom," and then like his mom pulling up, because truth be told, like I got a little misty eyed like when his mom pulled up.
Dude, I don't even think you needed any of that. Like, you just needed like the scene where Batman was like calling the big guns, and then you hear Lois, and then you see Superman go all docile, and then all you needed to do was see Superman in the next scene like ready to do what he needed to do, because you knew all it took was Lois to bring him back to the world. Like, you didn't need any farm scene. You didn't need his mom fucking running out to her foreclosed home.
like it's not even my house anymore.
Yeah, it's not. Like, why are we here? Like, I mean, because he obviously didn't get the house back until the end of the movie.
Very true. But I did like, I mean, the actress that plays, who is it? Diane Keaton?
Diane Keaton, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she's a fantastic actress. So like her emotion that she showed when her dead son is back, like I got a little misty eyed. I'm not gonna lie. Just saying. I mean, it was nice. I was understanding.
Yeah, no, it was good. Like, it was a good movie moment.
Right.
But it wasn't needed.
Agreed. But the movie's already clocking in at only 2 hours, so
only 2 hours? That's long.
But see, when we get movies like this, like especially the big ones, like on the Marvel side, like the Guardians of the Galaxy and stuff like that, like I almost want like 2.5 hours. Because I don't want you to feel constrained by time. Like, I want you to be able to tell the story you want to tell. And I think there could have been other points that were told, and like you said, some things that were cut. So I don't know. That's just, if I'm going to get a big group movie, I want more time for you to either tell me more plot or give me some other stuff, or you're just going to make it. If it's going to be 2 hours, you're right. We don't need 10 minutes at the farm. Because I only got 2 hours. Like, you got to give me like an hour and 45 minutes of straight fights. And then like the other 15 minutes is like getting to the next fight. That's all I'm saying.
You're like, I need an hour and 45 of fight. I need 30 minutes of plot. And then I need another hour and 45 to finish up that fight.
Right. Exactly. That's fine. 3 hours. Everybody sat through Lord of the Rings back in the day. There's nothing wrong with a long movie.
That's true.
The problem, you know why? But though the problem is with long movies is you can't show as many movies during a day, during a cycle, so they make less money because the theater is only showing 4 showings, not 5 or whatever, because it's so long, which is bullshit, because then they're focused on the money, like you're not going to rein it in anyways. But whatever. Don't get me started on that shit.
You know what, dude? I never even thought of that once in my life. That was a very valid point, and I commend you on your effort. That was that was pretty solid.
That's the worst shit ever. For money to be the, I mean, they make movies to make money, but you're gonna make $1 billion by the end of it. Like, shut the fuck up. It's like, at some point it's like, just give me a break. If you're shaving off minutes because you want to make sure it shows 5 times a day, not 4, fuck you. Just give me the movie give me what we need to see. Let the director do his stuff and be fine with it. And if it bombs, blame it on the director like you know you're going to, because you're a goddamn suit in an office. So, that's just... wow.
Harumph, harumph, harumph. Boo hiss.
Oh, boy. Yeah, that kind of stuff just gets to me when I read about it. And, I'm reading a book right now that will show up later on in our podcast in December that reiterates a lot of that stuff, and it's very important. I'm not going to talk about it now because I'm going to talk about it during that podcast, but stay tuned for that because it deals with Star Wars. So that'll be the week the Star Wars movie comes out, or the week after, depending on how much if we can get to a theater or not, because they're all going to be packed and sold out.
I feel like that one's going to be like hardcore packed out. Like you and I I'm either going to have to go to the garage for like the longest amount of time ever so we can go, or you and I are gonna have to like somehow find like some bootleg version of it because I don't even know if you can be around that many people.
I'll be fine. If it's Star Wars, trust me, those are my people. It's fine.
No, those are my people.
I'm scared in a comic book movie because I'm not a comic book guy. I just like superhero movies. So those are not my people. But Star Wars and Star Trek, those are my people. It's fine. I don't mind being in that theater. Yeah, so they raise Superman. While they're fighting Superman, Steppenwolf gets the last box. He puts them all together, and then they all have to fight him. Well, Superman takes off, so the other 5 are fighting Steppenwolf at this town that has been engulfed in like the darkness that the boxes whatever plot device. Because like they showed us this random like Russian family, and I'm like, why are we seeing this family like this? Because they showed them way in the beginning of the movie, and then like forever it was like, why did we see that scene? I'm sure it's going to be important later, but
you're like, I don't understand.
None of this makes any sense. But yeah, so whatever town, I guess they said the town was like, it had no internet, no connectivity, no anything. So no one knew, it was one of those places that a giant dome of darkness could form and no one would know because there's nobody around with a phone or a camera or anything in the internet.
Yeah,
so
apparently the future just stopped there.
Right. There was like a line, like a future line that was like, nah, everything past here is like rotary phone. Sorry. Like stand for 10 minutes for your photo to be taken type thing. like 1890s photography.
Why is he? Can you imagine that smiling for 15 minutes? Oh my God.
What is that from? Like, A Million Ways to Die in the West?
A Million Ways to Die in the West or whatever it's called. Yeah.
I heard somebody over in this town smiled for their photo. Are you kidding me? Yeah, that was a great movie. Go watch that. That's a pretty good movie.
Yeah, stop listening to us. Go watch that movie.
No, don't. It's not that good of a movie. Oh, man. Anyway, so let's see. I mean, let's wrap it up because we're at the, so Steppenwolf fight at the end. Superman comes in and,
Superman comes in and does fucking Superman things.
Right.
Let's just call it what it is. Like, he fucks that guy up.
Yeah, he had to come in last because he couldn't be there at the beginning because the fight would have been over. The movie would only been an hour and 45 minutes long, and I would have been really pissed.
Yeah.
Because Superman is goddamn indestructible and immortal, and he fucks this guy's world up in like 30 seconds. And don't get me wrong, because the other person who holds her own to him is frickin' Wonder Woman, who is just below, only because she can't fly do I put her below Superman when it comes to strength, because she's badass in every movie she's been in so far.
Yeah, she drops some vicious headbutts, man.
She fucking headbutts she headbutted him, right? Like Steppenwolf,
yeah.
Like straight up. Oh no! Did she headbutt Superman?
She headbutted fucking Superman, and he was like, ah.
Yeah, but then he like headbutted her like into the ground.
Well, that's true, but that's where he proved his point that I'm Superman. Like
he's like, step back, bitch. Like you're badass, but don't you headbutt me?
But she definitely stunned him. Yeah,
he was like, oh, ooh. that was yeah, I liked her fighting him because she's the only one of that entire group who can hold their own against Superman. Aquaman, not so much, not unless they're in the ocean. He may bring some sharks and shit, but he's not gonna.
Yeah, I mean, no one can really touch Superman outside of Batman, and that's only because he's got the Krypton.
Only, yeah, if only.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just saying he's the only guy that's smart enough to figure out some kind of evasive maneuver to like lure Superman into. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not saying that Batman can go out there and just like old fisticuffs with Superman, but he's smart enough to go that like if I do these 3 things, it's gonna make Superman do this, and then Superman's gonna go right into my ta-da trap.
Right.
Like
we saw. So. Well, you haven't seen Batman vs Superman, have you?
No,
like
not
that's
at all.
you literally just explained like half the plot of the movie.
Well, see, there you go. Like I know what's up, man.
Yeah. So, but in the end, between Cyborg and Superman, they separate the cubes because they all had come together. They separate the cubes, and they finish off Steppenwolf by turning his little minions that we haven't even mentioned this entire podcast.
Because he got scared because they thrive on fear. So that's why we saw the family in the get-go that was in, I don't know, some third world Eastern European country.
Right.
And so these like crazy bat looking firefly looking things at the same time that are just terrifying looking monsters actually when you see them. Every word we use to describe them does not do them justice.
Right.
And they thrive off fear, so when Steppenwolf was like, oh man, I'm kind of getting defeated, they all turned on him.
Right, every single one of them, because he hadn't felt fear. Right, and so Justice League doesn't even defeat him. He's just taken back to wherever he's coming from in this giant light tube that is
Basically Darkseid like sucked him back up.
Yeah, it's definitely not how Thor travels, but pretty much how Thor travels in all the movies.
Yeah.
So
no Rainbow Road involved.
It's not the Bifrost, but it's the Bifrost pretty much. It's a light tube that sucks him out of wherever he's at. But yeah, so he's gone back to wherever Darkseid is, I'm guessing, to be punished or killed or whatever. And then Darkseid's going to pull a Thanos and go, "I'll just do it myself," which is pretty much how Infinity Wars is going to start, anyways.
Yeah.
So and to be completely honest, Thanos and Darkseid, DC and Marvel are the same. What I understand,
they're the exact same person.
They're the same character. I mean, and you can see that throughout all of the competing comics. They literally, someone has this, and then Marvel has this guy, so DC has this guy, and it's the same guy, but it's a different comic. So we're gonna get the big bad. Just Justice League is taking a lot less movies to get there because they're, like we said last week, they're a day late and a dollar short on making these movies. And so we've only done Man of Steel, we've done Batman vs. Superman, we did Wonder Woman, and now we're on Justice League. That's 4. I mean, Marvel's got like 18 right now, and they're literally coming to the same point right at the same time. So it only took 4, but we also don't get all the origin movies and the 2s and the 3s, the Iron Man 2s. It was a little bit stuff like that.
Yeah, but I mean, like, even those movies are still pretty good, man. It's like, I think what we just rated Justice League is what I would have rated Iron Man 2.
Right. Well, I wouldn't rate a single comic book movie that's been in this modern age under a 7. I mean, like, really. Maybe they're counting the original Hulk. The original Hulk is like part of the
I'm
timeline.
so glad that Mark Ruffalo is Hulk, but I'm not gonna lie, man. I was real bitter when Ed Norton didn't carry it over.
Yeah,
I was real bitter. Like, and of all the people that got to replace him, like, they picked the right person because, one, Mark Ruffalo is a fantastic actor, but he's even a better human being, so you can never be mad at him for anything ever. Like, right. And so like, even if he came out and made like a shitty Hulk part, you'd be like, I don't fucking care, dude. You're so nice.
Right.
Like, you know what? You were probably stressing about all the other world problems that you just forgot to act a little bit. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, he definitely does a good job. We wouldn't know how good a job he did because we didn't get to see Thor yet because we just missed that one. But oh well, we'll catch Thor Ragnarok here at some point. Not on this podcast though. We're not going to cover it. It's too late now. But yeah, so everybody saves the day. Clark's mom gets her farm back. He buys it. Oh no, excuse me. Bruce bought the bank that owned the farm. So,
oh yeah, that's right. He did. I totally forgot about that. I think I even alluded to it earlier, but I totally forgot about it later.
That's cool. Yeah, he was. Superman's like, thanks a lot for, he said something like, how did you? He
goes, how'd you get the house back? And he goes, I bought the bank.
Right, which is such a great Bruce Wayne thing. Which I do like the lines they gave him because earlier when he was first meeting the Flash. He's like, so Aquaman's this and Wonder Woman's that. He's like, what's your superpower? He's like, I'm rich. So we saw that even in the trailer, but that's just a great like Bruce Wayne line is like I'm rich.
Yeah, no, I love how they did that with Bruce Wayne in the movie. Like where Bruce Wayne was just finally like, look, dude, I'm a normal guy. I got a fuck ton of money and I want to be a hero.
Yep.
Right? Like I like how they just took that brush and were like, that's happening. Everyone just accept it.
Exactly. Which has been noticeably absent from the previous Batmans. Wouldn't you say?
Oh yeah, definitely. 100%.
Like, never, anytime anytime that Christian Bale was in Bruce Wayne mode, he was uncomfortably like not the rich guy he should have been type thing. But this iteration of Batman is fully, I'm funding all of this, and I have.
Yeah, he's like, look, guys, I may not be the toughest guy around, but technically he is the toughest guy around because he has to deal with more bullshit than anybody else. But he's like, I'll bankroll this funding. I got this. We're okay.
Yep. So, Batman's pretty friggin' awesome. Wonder Woman's fantastic. Superman is just fine.
Superman.
Right, and do you think there was too much or too little Superman in this movie?
Too little.
Okay, I tend to agree with you.
He's just such a large, intricate part of the whole Justice League that he should have been involved quicker.
Right, I agreed, and I've heard some people complain that he was brought back too early, and I'm like, well, that would made a dumb movie. Like, I don't want to see Superman for the last 5 minutes. Like, I'm with you. They should have gotten to resurrecting him earlier. I don't know how they would have gotten there.
I wish they would have resurrected him earlier and had like a larger battle between Superman and the crew, and then finally like Lois Lane had to do something a little more dramatic than show up in a fucking Rolls Royce or whatever the hell she showed up in, and was like got out of the car and was like, Clark, right? Like, because that's gonna stop a fucking dude
raging alien.
Raging alien. Yeah, there you go. Thank you, because I didn't even know what the hell to call that.
Yeah, no, I would like yes, I'm with you, because what I want to see is the next movie, which I guess is the point of the way they made any movie, is to want to go see the next one. But yes, I want to see the Justice League formed. They, in telling the story of the mother boxes, we got a Green Lantern teaser, because we saw a Green Lantern fighting.
Yeah, in the fight, in the first fight.
In the main fight of the boxes from 5,000 years ago or whatever. But I'll be interested to see who they have playing Green Lantern. There's a billion different choices because there's been a billion different Green Lanterns throughout the comics, so that's fantastic. But that should all show up. And then, so at the very end, if you've watched the movie and you didn't stay through both ending credit scenes, you messed up, because I kind of feel like when I sit in the theaters, I'm like, I want to tell everybody, hey, whoever's leaving, sit down. There's two. There's one in the middle and there's one at the very end. Like, you got to wait through all of them. But there are two end credit scenes. The first one's more of a fun one, and it alludes to the ever famous Flash versus Superman, who's the fastest man on Earth, who's the fastest man alive.
Yep.
And like, Superman, what a funny dick. He's like, no, if I win, you're off the team.
Yeah, right.
And Barry's like, wait, what? So he's, they do their little race, and as was like the running joke through the whole movie, he's like, I've never seen the Pacific, and he's like, and Barry points one way, and Superman's like, that way. Like, the Pacific is that way.
Yeah. The Flash is directionally challenged, hardcore.
For a man who runs so fast, like half of his saving people during the big fight with Steppenwolf was like trying to figure out which way was east.
Mm-hmm. I hope this is east.
And then I think at the very end, he's like, this has got to be east, which means he ran the other three fucking directions before he ran in the right way. And then, okay, so the big reveal at the very end, after all of the credits, every single piece of credits there was, all the way to the point of like no animals were harmed in the making of this movie part of the credits. You see that Lex Luthor has masterminded an escape from Arkham. I guess he's in Arkham. Is he in Arkham? He's got to be in Arkham. Maybe, I don't know. Anyways,
I don't know if he's in Arkham, but wherever
he was being held,
he was out. Yeah,
he's out. He's on his yacht, and let's see.
Slade?
Slade Wilson. So what's his real name? Deadshot? Is that right? No, it's not Deadshot.
No,
that's not Deadshot.
it's just Slade.
It's Slade Wilson, but his his
his name
ego.
is just Slade.
Right. Slade Wilson is the character. You are correct.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is they just call him Slade.
Yes, and it's being played by the fantastic.
I cannot pronounce his name. Joe Manganiello.
Joe Manganiello.
Yeah, I have no idea how you say it, man.
Deathstroke.
But
Deathstroke. Deadshot is Will Smith. Deadshot is Will Smith. Deathstroke is Slade Wilson.
Okay, there we go. Yes, you were correct.
Joe Manganiello, who is married to Sofia Vergara, which is
probably just the most beautiful power couple on the earth.
There you go. And was also he's played by Manu Bennett in the Arrowverse, and that guy is from like Spartacus, and he's a bad motherfucker too. So both iterations of Deathstroke that are on TV and movies is badass. I can't wait to see Joe Manganiello's Deathstroke in the next movie. It's gonna be pretty badass. So
yeah, definitely.
You see him at the end of that movie, at the end of Justice League, and then that's it. And it was a great movie. And I was not sad for paying the $8.50 matinee price that I paid to see that movie.
Yep, I rocked it with Movie Pass.
Yep, check out Movie Pass, guys. Except they're doing like you can only buy their year plan right now. They charge you like $6.99 a month, but they charge it as a whole year. And I was like, man, I don't want to pay $80-some right now. Like we're only doing movies for
you're like, oh, I'm sorry, man. I need that number to be 100 before I
drop it for no reason.
Randomly buy it. Yeah.
Well, we're only doing movies until January 7th, and we got 6 weeks of more Star Trek, and there's no telling what's coming on after that. So
yeah, I'm just saying it's a good deal no matter what. Like it's not like you can't go to the movies with your wife or somebody.
I have 3 kids. I can't go with my wife. I have to find.
Well, that's true. You have no options, so never mind. Like I still have small options, but it's worth the price.
Right. You have babysitters way more often than I do.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right. Well, any last words before we end this podcast?
No, I think I spoke more tonight than I probably have any other podcast.
Well, I'm not rolling through scene by scene of Star Trek and losing you halfway through. So yeah, you did talk a lot, and that's good. Gives me a good break.
No, I mean you don't lose. Well, I mean you don't lose me. You engage me. Let's call it what it is, man. I'm like, yeah, dude, tell me all about it, because now you're going down the corridors,
down the rabbit holes, more like
yeah. Well, there you go. Yeah.
So well, good. Well, we both enjoyed the movie. Go see Justice League. It's pretty friggin' fantastic. Superhero movies, you really can't go that wrong with superhero movies. I mean, I don't understand how they're, you're not going to win an Emmy, but by God, they're good friggin' movies. So go check those out. Go check it out. Go check out everything there is out there with superhero wise. It's just a fun time to be consuming superhero media. It's just a good time to be living.
You definitely should be doing that.
Yeah. So anyways, well, this has been the Two Dads Review podcast. We are wrapping up this episode. We want to thank everybody who hung on here. Hit us up at Twitter at Two Dads Review, Facebook, Instagram. You can catch Corey over at Mixer at what's your handle, bud?
Oh, SlothBear35.
Check him out there. We were actually both on today playing a little bit of Battlefront 2. He picks up some Rainbow Six Siege, which I have to go buy here shortly.
I want to play that game so bad with you, because you and I always work so well together on the headsets.
Yep.
Like if you and I can sit there and just basically watch corners, like I think we'll destroy people. Especially once you get your aim down, you'll be good to go.
That's been a problem for like a decade. So all right. Anyway, thank you, everybody. We appreciate all of you who tune in every week and love you guys to pieces. Tweet at us, share us with your friends, and we'll catch you next week for our full review of The Punisher from Netflix.
Yes. Thank you, guys. Peace and love, and thank you for listening.
Take it easy.